Hello everybody. I know it's been a long time since we've done any videos, but I figured this would be fitting since we had a chance to sit down, or at least I had a chance to sit down and try a whole bunch of new stuff. I recently got an airbrush probably a couple months ago, and in between working all the time, I got a chance to actually go about and finish a model, and that would be this troll hag model. And as you can see it here, we've got all sorts of different stuff tied up in this model. I think the thing that probably is the headliner of this is that outside of using an airbrush for everything, I went ahead and I did what's called a mother color. So you tie one color and everything, and that's light brown was done over the entire model before I even went into greens and blues and the reds and pinks you see and everything else. I also didn't really spend a plethora of time picking out every single detail in the satchel or the net over her shoulder. I just didn't see a lot of value in making it so high definition that you have to go in and look at every single little piece. It just seemed like the more I did, the busier it got. So I let that mother color kind of tie over everything and applied a bunch of different washes and only picked out the most interesting things I saw in there and let the rest just kind of be. I'm most proud of the face. I spent a copious amount of time actually on the nose and the mouth and just adding different kinds of I wouldn't say that they're washes, but they're real close, just glazes over everything. The eyes, just absolutely everything in there. And the base was something that you'll see this green and the leaves and the fall leaves and the water. This is from my Matronian army that I tied into a lot of this. I did that on purpose so she would fit my Matronian army, because I can't sit here and talk about this troll hag and what I did in Painter without talking about how I intend to use her, and that's pretty much exclusively for Warhammer Fantasy. I will use her in Age of Sigmar because I am building a troll army to play with a couple friends, but my intent is to play with her in Warhammer Fantasy. If you haven't seen her her data sheet or her rules, whatever you want to call them, they're still experimental. They'll always be experimental at this point. She's 255 points, and I think she's absolutely worth it. I think this is a correctly priced model. She's got about one round of combat. She's a level 1 wizard, but she's got one round of combat where she can actually dish out a reasonable amount of wounds and effects for a 255 point monster. Her stat line is not really impressive. She has toughness 5-6 wounds, but she has a tree, like a weapon tree, like giants have, where you have 3 options for when she's attacking large monsters or monsters, cavalry, chariots, monsters, infantry, war machines, etc. Anything big. And then you have a smaller one where there's 4 options for smaller man-sized objects. They're not fantastic. They're not going to win you the game, but they are neat. I mean, there's some in here, if you get a chance to look it up, there's one that's like smother, and I'll just read the flavor text for it. The troll hag throws her massive slimy arms about her foe and drags it inexorably towards her bosom, there to smother it in her hideous embrace. The target must make an initiative test to avoid the attack. If it fails, the target takes no damage, but may not make any attacks this game. So this giant monster gets smothered by this troll hag in her bosom, and it is, I guess they suffer just some mental trauma, and they can never make any attacks the rest of the game. That's pretty amazing. I mean, that's really good. You got to roll 1 to 2. It has to be against a monster. Chances the other monsters can beat you up is pretty good because you're initiative 2, so you're always going to be going, you're not always going to be going last, but you're going to be going last against almost every monster in the game that I can think of. But if you get that, I mean, that's totally worth it. It has other abilities and stuff that it can do, and minuses to hit, and all sorts of stuff. If you wanted to see it, you can get with me on the Facebook group, or you can message me and I'll send you a copy. But I mostly just wanted to paint this model kind of as a challenge to do stuff I've never done before, and it turned out fantastic. And I just really wanted to share it with the community. Let everybody know we're still around. We're still planning on making videos. It's just a time thing, and I don't think until the fall we're really going to have a time to sit down and play games and really get back in the mode. But until then, here's something to get everybody by. Let us know what you think, and you know we'll be here soon.